Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video we have two parts, so I've got a Charlie's nail art haul to share with you all, and then we're also going to be doing a watch me do my nails where I'm going to be doing a long acrylic set. So I really hope you all enjoy watching. I know that hauls aren't for everybody, so if you want to just skip to the nails, I will leave a timestamp on screen here so you can just skip to that part of the video if you would prefer. I would recommend staying and checking out the haul though. So I'm one of Charlie's nail art ambassadors, and she recently sent me this PR package which was full of embellishments as well as her new range of wax melts. I say new, they have been around a little while, but this was my first time trying them. So she has a huge selection on the website which I will leave linked in the description box below. This one was scented lemon, and I have to say it smelled absolutely beautiful. I love wax melts and I do have them burning a lot when I'm doing nails, so I think it's a great addition. I always like my nail room to smell really nice, and this one smelled gorgeous. I thought it looked really cutesy and perfect for spring, summer as well. So I popped it in my little wax melt burner at the start, and the whole way through doing this video it just smelled absolutely beautiful. So if you are wanting to add wax melts on to any of your nail art orders, then definitely check out Charlie's. But let's jump into the nail mail. So Charlie's nail art has a huge selections of glitters, foils, crystals, embellishments. Here I've just got embellishments to show you guys. Now usually when I share Charlie's nail art hauls, it's usually stuff that I've selected and purchased myself, and I tend to go for glitter and foils over anything else, but she selected these and sent them to me, and it was really nice because I feel like sometimes things like this help push you out of your comfort zone. I don't tend to use crystals or embellishments too often, and having all these new ones is certainly going to push me to do some more. We are going to be using a couple of them in today's set of nails. So huge thank you first of all to Charlie's for that, and then let's jump in and take a look. So as you can see, the names of all of these are on the back with the prices as well, and you can see that they are priced very reasonably in my opinion. I think it's great as well that she sells things in quite smaller packets as well. So for example here, 2 butterflies, because if you're wanting to order more, of course you can order more, but a lot of the time, especially as a content creator, I don't need a big pack of anything because I'm only doing my own nails. So smaller packs of things come in handy, and it's great if you're on a budget and wanting to try new things as well. Now I love a lot of these clear embellishments. So like the feathers, the butterflies, these little seashells, I think they look really pretty, and although they are on the larger size, I don't feel like they look as over the top as some of these more bold looking ones like these animal print hearts that we have here. These are really fun, by the way. Now I know embellishments, I personally find they work better on longer nails rather than short natural nails because they are on the larger size. That was why I opted to add them into a long acrylic set today. They aren't for everyone, they can be for more the over the top designs, but I find those designs lots of fun. So let me know in the comments below if there's any of the embellishments here that take your eye that you'd like to see me do a set of nails with. These particular bee charms I think will work really well with a bee stamping plate that I recently found in my drawer, so I'm thinking about putting a little bee design together. These little ones here, they reminded me of a craze that went around a little while ago. I can't remember the name of it, but do you remember when everyone had all those phone cases that were covered in like a marshmallow looking stuff with sweets and things stuck on them? It was a couple of years back now, but they really reminded me of that. Now the 2 flower charms here had to be my favorites. The ones I just showed you guys previous, we're going to be using them in the set of nails today, and these ones are a lot smaller than a lot of the others that I showed you, so these ones would work well on smaller nails. Here I wanted to show you guys some of the embellishments that I already have. Now these are from a mix of places, predominantly Charlie's nail art supplies and a few from the Crystal Studio as well, but as you can see I've got quite a few that I just haven't used, but I'm definitely gonna push myself to use more. The ones in the first little box here up on the left hand side, they are all Charlie's as well, so she does do metal embellishments too. So I popped all of my new ones in a new box, all of their own, because I felt as though these had a lot more of a summer vibe to them. So I'm going to keep these on my desk to definitely do more of. Now let's jump on to the nails. So I have already applied my tips and done a thin clear acrylic base, and I was just doing this set of nails for content. I can't keep long nails like this on myself due to other work, and I just personally struggle with long nails, but I absolutely love doing them. So I have popped down a peel off gel base coat, then applied my tips and a thin clear acrylic base. Then here we're just jumping straight in to the nail art. Now for this design I wanted to keep all of the nail art Charlie's, so I've got 4 glitters here from Charlie's Nail Art. I will leave all of the names for those linked in the description box below. But let's jump into the design. So I'm starting off by, I'm going to do all the nails differently, but on this one I started off with a super fine glitter mix. I think this one's called Turquoise, and it's a really pretty holographic. It's got a few iridescent particles in there as well, I think, but I'm just using this as a base for the more chunkier glitters and the blue Mylar flakes, and I really love the effect that this gives off. On the next nail we're just going to use the Mylar flakes without that glitter background, and you can kind of see the two different ways that it looks on the nail. Mylar flakes and iridescent glitter pieces are one of my favorite nail art mediums to work with. I love that you can play around with them, you can layer them up to create different designs. So that's why on the first nail I pop them over that glitter base. Then we're going to leave that to set before we do our ombre with the acrylic. But on this nail we're going to work slightly different, and we're going to do our acrylic first of all and then lay the glitters over the top, just again so we create different style fades. Now for the acrylic today I'm using Diamond Nail Supplies. The clear I'm using is their Clarity, and then here we're using Sassy. Now Sassy is a really gorgeous nude, and it does have some gold glitter particles running through it as well. I wanted this set to be very full on, over the top, because back when I started my channel this was one of my favorite designs to do, long OTT acrylic nails, and I feel like I've kind of let that slide, not done as many of those over the past year, and I really want to get back into the swing of doing those kind of designs. So we're starting off with Sassy. I've placed that down at the cuticle area and just blended it down. I want to keep the tip of my nail nice and clear, so I've not took that too far down. Then I'm just popping a wash of clear acrylic down and then picking up these blue Mylar pieces and placing them down on the nail. Now the great thing about these Mylar pieces is in amongst the pot you've got a selection of larger and smaller size pieces. So what I tend to do is to pop down a wash of clear acrylic, dip my wet brush into that pot of Mylar pieces, and then I'll place them down onto my paper towel. Then I can just pick out if I need a specific size. So if I've got a smaller gap that I want to fill, I can just pick up one of the smaller pieces and place that in there. If I've got a larger gap, I can do exactly the same. I just find it a little bit easier than picking up a bunch of the Mylar pieces and trying to work with them when they're on the nail. So I've just faded them back slightly. I didn't want to fully cover the entire nail. I wanted there to have a little bit of a glass effect there. So that's why I haven't popped the finer glitter underneath or fully covered the nail with those Mylar pieces. And I love the way these reflect in the light. They just look super pretty. So we're going to move back to that first now and come in with our Sassy acrylic. So I'm placing this down at the very cuticle area, in the back third of the nail towards that cuticle area, tapping it up into place at the cuticle and then blending it down over that glitter and Mylar tip that we've got. This is going to give us a little bit of a hidden section, so it's going to blur the glitter a tiny bit. And the reason I wanted to do this is because I want to pop one of the embellishments over the top on this now. So I want the embellishment to be half of the focal point of the nail, so that's why I was just blurring that section in the middle, as that's where I'm planning to pop one of those little dragonfly charms. So I'm just blending this out, building up the apex as well with this bead of acrylic, so that when it comes to encapsulating, we don't have to encapsulate the entire nail. Then we're going to move on to the ring finger, and the ring finger is just going to be a full nail of that Sassy glitter, because the ring finger was the main nail that I want to pop my embellishments down on. We're going to pop some crystals and caviar beads onto this nail as well, so I didn't want to have too much of a crazy background because that's going to draw your attention away from those embellishments. So I thought we'd go for a nice nude background. Now this should have been the simplest nail to do in the set because it's just a plain core color nail. However, for some reason, this is what I struggle with the most when it comes to acrylic, especially when I've had a break from doing long acrylic nails and I go back to doing them. I find going back to the basics harder than going back to the nail art. And when I first started out in nails, a tip that another nail tech gave me was to crack your basics first before you move on to nail art. And I feel like that's what I need to go back to lately. I mentioned in my previous acrylic video that when I have a break from doing acrylics, I find it really hard to go back to them and pick up where I left off. So I think I'm going to try and do some back to basics sets of nails. So let me know if you'd like those recorded for the channel. Just because you can see here, I'm struggling a little bit. The heat wasn't on my side either, but basically it got to this point and I felt like, do you know what? I just need to get the acrylic down on the nail and fix it with my file. So it does come together at the end and it looks fine once they're filed. At times you are going to find that, you know, maybe you're having an off day. The weather at the moment in the UK has been quite hot, which messes around with your acrylic application because everything sets a lot quicker. But we're going to move on to the little finger, and I'm starting off with that turquoise glitter mix. So I've picked up a teeny tiny bead of clear acrylic and then dipped into that raw glitter. I keep my brush kind of wet and then I'm able to really mix that glitter into the clear acrylic. And then I'm just placing this down at the cuticle, getting a nice neat cuticle line and then blending that down. This is going to be our base for some more of those chunkier glitter pieces. And when you are working on a small nail bed or a small area like on the little finger, it's a lot easier to use a finer glitter mix to get your neat cuticle area and then come over the top with your chunkier pieces. So here I'm coming in with, this is one of my go-to glitter mixes from Charlie's. It's got some beautiful cerise pink pieces in there, but it's got lots of iridescent pieces, and I've probably mentioned it in previous videos, but I absolutely love iridescent glitter mixes. I just love the way that once they're encapsulated and top coat, the way they catch the light, especially when you've got natural sunlight. So I'm just layering them over the top, and then I'm coming in with some of the pink iridescent glitter pieces and some of the blue Mylar pieces. It has been a genuine struggle to get the words out for this video. I've had a super busy morning and then I've got a busy afternoon as well, because my youngest, who is 6, she competed today in a track event, so a running event for her school. So I think it was around 8 children from 2 classes in her school were selected to compete against other schools. So we was there all morning, and then we got home around 12 o'clock from watching that. But then this afternoon, her school also has sports day. So in between going to both of these sporting events, I thought, you know what, I need to fit in doing this voiceover, as it's so hard to do voiceovers once the kids are home from school. So I'm sorry if it's not making complete sense. Here you can see I'm just coming in and encapsulating this nail. So I've encapsulated from the core color down. I didn't take my clear acrylic all the way up to that cuticle and apex area, because the acrylic color that I used in that zone was a core acrylic anyway. So all I was doing with my clear was finishing off encapsulating the rest of the nails. Now when I did this video, it was a super hot sunny day, so I sat out in the garden and did all of the filing. I basically whizzed over them with my e-file to debulk and then filed the shape with my hand file, and that fixed a lot of that messy, uneven acrylic application. I do want to get a little bit better at filming filing. At the moment I find it really tricky to sit at my desk and film filing due to the way I have my lighting and my camera set up, but I've bought a new light and I want to have a play around with my desk so that I can film filing a little bit better, and then I will try and leave it in some videos. But now let's jump to applying those embellishments. So I'm starting off by taking a small ball of polygel and I'm placing this down where I'm going to put those larger embellishments. Then I'm going to come over the top of this with my no wipe rubber top coat, and I'm going to apply this to the entire nail. Now I find with a lot of the time in my crystals, I will just stick them down into my rubber top coat, but with embellishments, because they have, or these ones anyway, have a flat surface, I find it hard to get them to stick on a curved nail, so when you've got the curve of the apex. So that's why I put the thicker polygel where I'm going to be placing my embellishments. So if you are doing it this way, you do need to kind of plan out your crystal and embellishment design in your mind first of all, so that you know where to put that polygel. You want to leave your polygel and your rubber top coat wet and then place your embellishments and crystals down. So on this one, I'm starting off, that flower is going to be my focal point, and I just want a few crystals around the edges of that, just to kind of finish off the design, and so that it doesn't look like I've just stuck a flower down in the middle of the nail and left it at that. Of course you can do that if that's the look that you want to go for, but I feel like it brings the nail together a little bit more if you add in some crystals. Now the mistake I made on this nail is I've placing down my crystals and we're working around that cuticle area, and I didn't notice that the crystals at the top had moved around in the gel. Usually I will push everything into place before I pop it into cure, but I completely forgot to do that. So you can see they've kind of floated apart a little bit, so I do fill in that area with a little bit of a few caviar beads, but I didn't notice this just yet, so we'll get to that bit in a moment. For now, we're going to do similar again on the pointer finger. This time I am just going to place down the dragonfly though. So I'm placing down a small ball of that poly gel, spreading it out and smoothing it out around the edges so it isn't just a thick lump in the middle of the nail. Then I'm going to come over the top with my no wipe rubber top coat, and then we're going to leave this wet and place down the dragonfly. And like I was saying on the previous nail, usually I'll pop down some crystals, but because of the shape of the dragonfly and the color of it, I decided to leave it as it was because I felt as though it just looked quite pretty on its own. Now, once you're happy with your placement, that's when you pop everything into cure for 60 seconds. This is where I noticed that those crystals had moved. So of course you could remove everything and start again, but I didn't want to do that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of top coat on my brush and pick up these caviar beads and just place them down into those gaps where the crystals at the top had moved around. And then because I wanted it to look cohesive, I'm going to come and add a few caviar beads down at the bottom part of the nail as well. A lot of the time when you go wrong in nails, you can fix it. You just need to sometimes think outside the box. So then I pop those caviar beads in to cure, and then all that's left to do is to cure the remaining two nails. So I'm just going to come in with my rubber top coat and apply this to the last two nails, and then pop these in to cure for 60 seconds. If I'm doing glass nails and I'm planning on wearing them, so if I was going to keep these on, then I would top coat underneath on that little fingernail as well, just to keep that clear tip staying super clear. But now, as we've finished the design, we're just going to jump in with our cuticle oil and replenish those cuticles. So I'm going to really rub this in, and then that, guys, is the end of the video. So let me know what you thought of this design below. Do you love these long, more extravagant acrylic sets, and would you wear them yourself? I find them so much fun to do, and back before working the job that I work now, I used to wear longer nails a lot more, but I find it really hard to type on the keyboard with long nails. Maybe it's just something I need to practice a little bit more with, because I do miss wearing the longer design sets, but I absolutely love doing them. These were just so fun to sit and do. So I really hope you all enjoyed watching today's video. If you did, then please do give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and if you're not already subscribed, I would love it if you hit that subscription button. I will leave a link to all of the products I've used in the description box below, as well as any discount codes I have, so do check that out. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.